Excuse me. I'm eating cucumbers, but it was something that I did think of because I remember when I was like 25 and I remember I had just ended a relationship, a long-term relationship, and I remember my first instinct was to get on dating apps. And I remember being like so like excited. Now, mind you, maybe I should talk about that. Maybe I should talk about my dating app experience. Maybe I will. I think that's what I wanted to talk about. Or maybe that just came to me. But either way, um what was I going to say? If you are someone who you get bored and you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm bored, I'm so tired of going home alone, I'm so dissatisfied with just going to work and going home, going to work and going home, I would challenge you to not get on dating apps unless like only do it if like you're getting something out of it, I guess, if you're benefiting. Because to me, looking back at it, I just think of all the men. Yes, I did have a good time. It's like I just gave these men too much access to me, you know what I mean? And when I look back at it, I'm like, I really should have made them work harder. But the thing is, I was also very like selfish about it as well. Like I was like, I don't care. Like as long as I'm getting what I want out of it, I don't care. And when I think about it, like even when I think back to Chicago, excuse me, it's the pepper on the cucumber that I put on there. It's like stuck in my throat. Hold on, let me get my water. Okay. Shout out to my cute little cozy that I made this weekend. It's just two granny squares. I think it's pretty cute. Um excuse me. Hold on. Okay, so what was I about to say? Yeah, I was talking about dating. Yeah, if you're a person that you feel like you're bored and your first instinct is to be like, oh, let me get on an app, I would challenge you to take that energy that you were going to use to get rid of swipe through people. Think about something that you wanted to do, but you haven't did it yet first. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I would do because one, I don't think it, I don't, it just, to me, I don't want to say low vibrational because there are people that, they get on there and they get what they want out of it and they learn, you know what I mean? They get what they want out of the experience. And I think that there's a lot of benefits to that. Yeah, because I essentially never had a phase where I was just dating multiple men prior to that moment. So like during that time I just like went crazy essentially. Which kind of like made me think like, girl, you may have a bit of an addictive personality slightly. Like I think I may have a bit of an addictive personality. But yeah, what do I want to talk about with that? Because I feel like that's good. That would have to be like, it would have to be multiple parts because my first introduction post that breakup at like 25, 20, not 25, like 26. Yeah, like 26. I, what did I do? Which story do I want to tell, child? Okay, I'll tell this one because, child, like, I don't know. Do I want to tell that one? Because it's like me not talking about it makes it seem like I have something still attached to it when it's like I don't really care. Um, Before I get into that, I did want to finish my original point. My original point was if you're a person that is bored and you feel like you want to get on the dating apps, I would challenge you to like think of something that you haven't did that you want to do. Because that's what I'm doing. Like I'm filling my time doing things that I want to do, and I've been like enriching myself and like pouring into myself. And I think a lot of times, yes, it could just be, you know what I mean, like, oh, you just want validation, or you want somebody to tell you that you're beautiful, or you want to go out on a date. But I feel like a lot of those things you can do for yourself. And honestly, people in the world, like, and like the things that you do and pursue can validate you, you know what I mean? Like, to me it's very validating, you know, to be honest, when women do compliment me. So like that's a form of validation. But I think for a lot of people, we're all just like, really, you know, you just get lonely, and it's like, I get it, but I feel like I'm not in that space where I'm just like slumming it, you know what I mean? Like, my standards and everything has just like gone up, you know what I mean, to where it's like, I don't even care about, you know what I don't care about peddling through people, trying to find somebody that will, you know, want to go on a decent date, want to have a decent conversation, all of that, you know. It just, because the fact is, like, niggas just be boring. That's really just it. Like, people just be, you know, most people are just not, it's just really gonna be like, what can they do to like basically have access to your body? And if that's what you're on, I say do you, but make sure, you know, make sure you're getting regularly tested, make sure you're, of course, protecting yourself, make sure you're protecting, make sure you're not drinking. That's something, a cautionary tale that I would say to all women. Do not drink on any first date. Anytime you're about to meet anybody, like, don't. I would not drink. I mean, I wouldn't drink at all. I'm gonna just leave it at that. I would not drink at all. I think if you're gonna date, you need to be as sober, and if you are gonna partake in some things, know your limit. You know what I mean? Know when to stop. Maybe limit yourself to 1 glass of wine. If you're a person that partakes in any other thing, bring your own shit. You know, like, that's what I would say. Make sure you tell somebody where you're going, where you'll be at. Don't, you know, of course, don't do these super, super long dates. I remember one time, we can go into the story of my dating mishaps. I remember one time I met this guy on the dating app on Tinder, and this was when I was just like, oh, footloose, and, you know, just not giving. I just was like, I don't care. I just want to, but you know, when I look back, it was just me looking for validation, I feel like. And a little bit of just like, you know, my own sort of exploration, you know what I mean? But anyway, I remember I went on this date and we went on a walk. Child. And that's another thing, like, I don't want to do no walking dates. If I do walking, I'll walk by myself. Like, I don't want to do that, because when I look back at it, it creates a time where, like, especially if you're talking to somebody and you're walking, you forget about the time, you know what I mean? And then when I look back at it, like, I was cognizant of the time, because I was going, after I got done with this date, I was going to go meet someone else that I really wanted to hang out with. So I was just like, okay, I'm not going to stay here and like hang out with you all evening. Like, I have another date that I want to go to. So I remember we were like walking and talking, and come to find out, he was like, he had proposed to a girl, and and then what else did he say? I'm trying to remember. I remember because I was like 26, 27, because it was like summertime, so my birthday had probably just passed. So I was like 27, and he was 34, and I remember him telling me, and it's crazy that I remember his age. I know he was like in his mid-30s. He might have been like 35, mid-30s or something like that. But I remember him telling me how he had just proposed to somebody and how she didn't want to, like, I think the engagement was called off. And in my mind, I just remember listening to him. I just was like, oh yeah, I'm never gonna, like, see you again. Like, you have a lot going on. Like, you have a whole fiance and you're out. But it just, and that's something that I would say to expect. You know what I mean? If you're gonna do it, expect to run into, like, a lot of men that have just either come out of a relationship or they're in a situationship with somebody, because that was most of the men that I experienced, or they had, like, baby mamas that they clearly were still talking to. But yeah, I remember him, like, us walking for like an hour, it's like 2 hours, and I remember the time, like, getting closer to me being like, I already was going somewhere else. So I was like, oh my god, I gotta run home, I gotta go do this, I gotta do that. And I remember telling him, like, yeah, I gotta get ready to go or something like that. And I don't know why, but he just cash apped me money. Like, I think he was like, oh my gosh, okay. I think he was like, I don't even know why he wanted to give me money. He just cash apped me some money. And now that I look back at it, I probably should have, like, I probably should have kept talking to him. But I just thought it was, like, so weird that he was, like, basically on a date talking about his fiance with me, child. But that was an interesting Tinder experience. Yeah. My last, though, I will say, since we're talking about, you know what I mean, the Tinder stories, the individual that I was going to go see after him, he was actually the last person that I had, like, talked and matched with on Tinder, because at that point, like, and the thing with Tinder is, like, it does become exhausting, especially because a lot of these men are, like, energy harvesting for, like, they're looking for validation too, you know what I mean, essentially. So it just becomes really exhausting for both parties, and you can just tell. Because even I've talked to men that'll be like, yeah, I get tired of being on the dating apps. But, and then that's when you'll get them, they'll be like, oh, I'll just settle down with someone, and then I'll eventually get love bomb her, and then I'll get tired of her, and then I'll get back on the dating apps, and I'll do it all over again. Or I'll keep somebody that I know. I don't know, whatever the fuck men be doing, child. But anyway, he was actually the last person. I remember matching with him, and I remember, where did we go? I think with him, like, he was super cool because it kind of started to become more like a friendship in a sense. He just had a lot going on, and I could just tell that he was still, like, a lot of the men that I ran into, they either had baby mamas, multiple kids, or, like, they were still attached to somebody before meeting, before matching. And to me, it just gave, like, I think in this situation, like, I was okay with the dynamic. And when I was doing it, I was okay with the dynamic of, I'm just doing this for fun. Like, I don't care if this leads to a relationship. And I think for some of the men that I did date, they didn't like that. Like, I think they wanted me to kind of, like, be obsessive and, like, calling them and texting them and doing all of this stuff, and I just wasn't doing that. I just was like, if you want to hang out, we can hang out. If you want to, you know what I mean, link up, we can link up. But after that, like, I think it may not be as interesting anymore. I don't know. Or maybe, I don't know what that is, but I'm gonna come back to that. Because now I'm interested in, like, why that is. Like, why is it? Because to me, I felt like it was the perfect dynamic. But, child, it's just so crazy because a lot of the men, I want to say about 95% of them were literally still talking about their ex. And they were on the dating app. So that's something that you also want to like keep into the back of your mind when you're on the dating app and you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna find my husband, or I'm gonna find if you want to get married.
I'm done with rolling around in the mud with pigs.
But if you're like, oh, I want to find a boyfriend, I want to find a partner, I want to find a husband, child, like, no. You're just not going to. You can't take it seriously. You literally have to get on there and be like, either I want to have fun, I want to try to get some money, I want to get an experience, you know what I mean? I want to go on dates, I want to experience dating. You have to literally just look at it like that, because if you're looking at it for a relationship, it's just, you're gonna be disappointed, unfortunately. And when I look back at it, like, most of them, all of them were like, and there was one guy who had like 2 kids, from 2 different baby mamas, and to me that was a red flag. It was a super big red flag. But how do I say this without YouTube acting weird? Our energy exchanges were like so good that I was like, okay, I know, like, I have to stop talking to you. I knew when to let it go. It's like a drug, like a bad habit. I was like, yeah, you're gonna ruin my life. And he was like trying to sell me these dreams. I remember when I met him, and he was like, oh, I can do this to help you with your credit. And what else did he say? I think he was trying to get his CDL at the time. And at the time, I think he was staying with his sister. And it was just, he had a lot going on. I was like, yeah, dude, like, if you think I'm gonna be like your wife, if you think I'm gonna be your girlfriend, like, no, it's just not gonna happen. Because I just don't want to deal. I don't want to deal with anyone that has children. That's no shade, but as you know, when you do take that on, you're essentially gonna be the stepmom. And I would only be willing to do that if the man like had a lot of resources and money, because to me, then that stuff can be outsourced for both the baby mom, the mother of the children, and, you know what I mean, me being the spouse or partner, if I'd even decided to do that, you know what I mean? But yeah, like, he had a lot going on. I remember he had 2 different kids from 2 different women. And I remember he was obsessed with Lil Wayne. He was cute though. He was fine. And like, our energy exchange was like, it was good, but I was like, no, like, dude, this is not I'm here for a good time, not a long time. Like, it's not going to it's not gonna work, because you have a lot going on. And I knew at that time, like, I don't want to be you don't even have your own place. Like, to me, it's no shade. I'm not bashing anyone, because we all are in a place, you know what I mean? Life hits everybody. But at the same time, I was just like, you need to be focused. Yeah, you're on dating apps, you know what I mean? You're on dating apps, meeting with women, doing whatever, and you couldn't even, like, we couldn't even go. We were literally just doing energy exchanging, because he didn't have, what else could he do? I mean, we did like little free dates, and I just was like, like, I'm good. And then, child, it's already been 30 minutes, so I think I'm going to end this video here before I continue to talk too much. Yeah, I'm just not in that space. I'm not in that space because once you sit back and like you examine the men that you do meet on those apps and you look at it on a deeper level, a lot of them are just men who are trying to find a warm body to get on top of, and somebody that they can emotionally dump on about, you know what I mean, a prior relationship, an ex, like, or still be like, it's just, you just have to be aware of those things. That's all. If you're gonna do it, that's all I'm gonna say on that. Yeah, it's just, it's ghetto. It is ghetto. Um, but yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, like, do your, like, work on the fun stuff that you like to do. I would do anything else before I would say, like, child, get on the apps and start swiping. Unless that's what you want to do for whatever purpose you're trying to accomplish. I just say get in and get out is the best way. Or do it with the intention of, like, having fun. And don't do, I would say, like, don't do any free dates. Like, make the person that you match with, if you do decide to do dating apps, I would say at least, you know what I mean, have them put some intention into the date, you know, like, have an expectation. But I feel like going on a walk and, like, talking and stuff like that, it's cute, but I feel like it's just a gateway to kind of, like, hold your attention for as long as like the person can, and it's a way to, like, get a lot of your time without having to, like, put any money into it for real. There's no real investment. They just, you know, so you just have to be strategic. That's all. Either be strategic or have fun. That's really it. And preferably be, like, do both actually. Sage is so cute. Hold on, let me see if I can pan the camera. Look at him. It's like a void. You can't see anything with his eyes closed. But that's it. That's it for this one. I'm gonna see y'all on the next one. Bye. Gorgeous, gorgeous.